Let me say something that most women will never admit out loud. There are days I don't want to be touched, days I'm exhausted, drained, and the last thing on my mind is sex. And my husband knows this, but somehow he still gets me every single time. Not by begging, not by pressuring me, not by doing anything manipulative or desperate. He just knows exactly what to do, and within minutes, I'm the one reaching for him. Now, you might be thinking, Dr. Julia, how is that even possible? That's exactly what this video is about. Because what my husband does isn't magic. It's actually backed by science. And today, I'm handing it all over to you. 7 specific things that flip a woman's switch. Things most men will never know. And if you skip this video, you might just keep missing out tonight, tomorrow, and the night after that. Now, before we dive in, let me introduce myself for those of you who are new here. My name is Dr. Julia Rodas. I am a men's sex therapist with over a decade of experience helping men regain their sexual health, their confidence, and their strength in the bedroom and beyond. Over the years, I have sat across from hundreds of men, good men, loving men, men who genuinely care about their partners, and watch them struggle with one of the most frustrating things in a relationship. Their woman just doesn't seem to want sex as much as they do, and they don't know why, and they definitely don't know what to do about it. That's why I started this channel, not to shame men, not to lecture anyone, but to give you the real information, the science, the psychology, the practical tools that nobody ever hands to men. And today, I'm doing something a little different. I'm not just speaking to you as a therapist, I'm speaking to you as a woman, as a wife, and I'm pulling back the curtain on exactly what works because I live it firsthand. So, if you're ready, let's get into it. But before we do, if you are watching this and you have ever felt rejected, confused, or just plain lost when it comes to your woman's desire, this channel was built for you. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a video, because every single week I am putting out content that your doctor won't tell you, your boys don't know, and Google barely scratches the surface on. And do me a favor, drop a comment below and tell me how often does your woman turn you down. I read every single comment, and your answer might just shape my next video. Now let's talk about the 7 things my husband does that get me in the mood every single time. Point 1, emotional connection. The real foreplay nobody talks about. I need you to hear this and really let it sink in. For a woman, foreplay doesn't start in the bedroom. It doesn't even start when you get home from work. For most women, foreplay starts in her mind, sometimes hours, even days before sex ever happens. And at the center of all of that is emotional connection. Here's something I tell every single man who walks into my office. If your woman feels disconnected from you emotionally, her body will shut down sexually. It's not something she's doing on purpose, it's biology, it's psychology, it's the way women are wired. Think of it like this. A woman's desire is like a door. An emotional connection is the key. Without the key, it doesn't matter how hard you push that door, it is not opening. So what does emotional connection actually look like? In practice, it looks like your husband asking you about your day and actually listening. Not nodding while scrolling his phone, actually listening, making eye contact, responding. It looks like feeling seen. Feeling like the person you're with genuinely cares about what's going on inside your head. My husband has this habit of sitting with me after dinner, no TV, no phones, and just talking about nothing important sometimes, about everything sometimes, and I cannot tell you what that does to me emotionally. By the time we go to bed, I already feel close to him. I already feel connected, and that connection, it translates directly into desire. So, if your woman has been pulling away from you sexually, I want you to ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you had a real conversation with her? When was the last time she felt truly heard by you? Because emotional disconnection is the #1 silent killer of a woman's sex drive, and emotional connection is the fastest way to bring it back. Point 2, flirting and texting during the day. Build the fire before you get home. Now, this one is underrated and most men completely skip it. Here's what a lot of men do. They go to work, they come home, they eat dinner, watch TV, and then somewhere around 1000 p.m., they slide over to their woman and wonder why she's not immediately ready and responsive. But what did you do all day to make her think about you? My husband figured this out early in our marriage, and it changed everything. He sends me texts during the day, Not just what's for dinner texts. I mean intentional, flirty, warm messages that make me smile in the middle of my workday. Sometimes it's something sweet telling me he was thinking about me. Sometimes it's something a little bold, a message that makes me raise an eyebrow and smile to myself. And here's what that does. It plants a seed. By the time he walks through that door in the evening, I have been thinking about him. I am already mentally and emotionally warmed up. He has been on my mind. And this is actually backed by research. Women experience what scientists call responsive desire, meaning our desire responds to stimulation rather than appearing out of nowhere the way spontaneous desire works in most men. That stimulation can be physical, yes, but it can also be emotional, mental, and psychological. A well-timed text message, that's stimulation, that's foreplay. That is him building desire in me before he ever lays a single finger on me. So, starting tomorrow, text your woman during the day. Not something generic, something that shows you we're thinking about her specifically. Watch what happens when you get home. Point 3, touch and foreplay. And I don't mean what you think. Okay, now we're getting into physical territory, but I need to reframe something for you first. Because when most men hear the word foreplay, they think it means a few minutes of activity right before sex. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about everyday, non-sexual physical touch, the kind that builds warmth, safety, and physical closeness over time without any agenda attached to it. My husband touches me constantly, and not in a way that always signals he wants something. He hugs me for no reason. He holds my hand when we're walking. He'll touch the small of my back when we're standing in the kitchen. He kisses me, real kisses, not just a peck, before he leaves the house, and when he comes back. And here's what that does over time. It trains my body and my nervous system to associate his touch with safety, warmth, and pleasure. So when things do get intimate, my body is already primed. There's no awkward transition. There's no stiffness because physical closeness has already been established. Research consistently shows that couples who maintain daily, affectionate physical contact, hugging, kissing, holding hands, report significantly higher levels of sexual satisfaction and emotional intimacy. It's not separate from sex, it's connected to it. But there's another layer to this. Actual foreplay when it matters. Women need time. Our bodies are not like a light switch. We are more like an oven. We need to preheat. And the more time and attention a man gives during foreplay, the more responsive and present a woman will be. My husband understands this. He is never in a rush. He never makes me feel like I'm just a destination he's trying to get to. He makes me feel like the journey is the point, and that difference, that patience is everything. Point 4, taking charge. Why confidence is the biggest turn on. Now, I want to talk about something that might make some people uncomfortable, but I'm going to say it anyway because it is true and it is important. Women are attracted to men who lead. Not in a controlling way, not in a dismissive or domineering way, but in a confident, decisive, I've got this kind of way. One of the things that drives me absolutely crazy in the best way about my husband is that he makes decisions. He doesn't constantly ask, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? He makes a plan. He says, I'm taking you to dinner on Friday. Wear that blue dress. And something about that, the decisiveness, the intentionality, the fact that he thought about it and made it happen is deeply biologically attractive. This is not about gender politics. This is about attraction. Women are wired to be attracted to men who project confidence and capability. It signals safety. It signals strength. And that safety and strength, they are deeply connected to desire. I have had men in my office who are wonderful, kind, generous partners, but they are so passive, so uncertain, so afraid of making a wrong move that their women have completely lost attraction for them, not because they're bad men, but because they stopped leading. So, take charge, plan the date, make the reservation, suggest something bold and different when it comes to intimacy. Be present, be confident, be intentional. Don't ask, is this okay? Do you want me to? Should I? Every 30 seconds. Read her. Tune into her. Be present. Confidence is not something women just appreciate. It is something women respond to physically. It is a turn-on in the truest sense of the word. Point 5, make it about her. The secret most men miss. This is the one I want every man to tattoo on the inside of his eyelids. If you want your woman to want sex, make sex about her. I know that sounds simple. I know you might be sitting there thinking, obviously, but I am telling you truly, making it about her is rarer than you think. There's a difference between a man who has sex with a woman and a man who makes love to a woman. The first man is focused on his own release, his own pleasure, his own satisfaction. The second man is focused on her, on what she's feeling, on what she needs, on making sure she walks away from that experience feeling incredible. My husband falls into the second category. And because of that, I genuinely look forward to being with him because I know I will feel seen. I will feel desired. I will feel like my pleasure matters. And here's the thing about women. When we feel like our pleasure matters to our partner, we want more of it. When sex feels like something that's done to us rather than with us, we start to avoid it. So think about her pleasure first. Ask her what she likes, not in a clinical, awkward way, but naturally, warmly, as a part of intimacy. Pay attention to her responses. Learn her body. Be genuinely invested in her experience. When a woman knows that her man is truly focused on her, not just checking a box, everything changes. Her desire increases, her openness increases, her willingness increases. Make it about her every single time. Point 6, help around the house. Yes, really. I know you didn't come here for a chores lecture, but stay with me because this is more important than you realize. A woman who is mentally and physically exhausted cannot access desire. It is physiologically impossible. Think about what many women are carrying every single day. Work responsibilities, childcare, cooking, cleaning, managing the household, remembering every appointment and school event and grocery list. By the time she sits down at the end of the day, she is empty. There is nothing left. And then her partner approaches her wanting sex. And she says no. And he's hurt and she feels guilty, and it becomes this cycle of frustration and disconnection. But here's what breaks that cycle. When he helps, when my husband clears the dishes without being asked, when he handles bath time with the kids, when he takes something off my plate without making it a big deal, I notice every time. And it makes me feel cared for. It makes me feel like we are a team, like he sees my load and he wants to lighten it. And that feeling of being cared for, of being seen, of not being alone in the responsibilities of life is one of the most powerful triggers of a woman's desire. I'm not saying your sex life depends on doing the dishes. I'm saying it depends on your woman feeling like you are her partner truly, fully in every part of life, not just when the lights go down. So look around your home tonight. What is she carrying that you could help with? Not as a transaction, not because you expect something in return, but because you love her and you see her. Do that consistently and watch how she looks at you. Point 7, reduce her stress. The final piece of the puzzle. And finally, we arrive at stress, the silent destroyer of desire that nobody wants to talk about. Here is a biological fact. When a woman is stressed, her body produces cortisol, and cortisol is the direct enemy of arousal. It literally suppresses the hormones responsible for sexual desire. Her body, when flooded with stress, is in survival mode, and survival mode has no room for intimacy. This is why I always say if you want more sex in your relationship, help create an environment where your woman can actually relax. And I don't mean just telling her to relax. I mean actively creating the conditions for it. My husband is very intentional about this. On evenings when he wants us to connect, he'll do something to help me decompress first. Maybe he runs a bath. Maybe he tells me to go lie down while he handles dinner. Maybe he just sits with me and lets me talk through whatever is on my mind until I feel lighter. He doesn't do this as a strategy to get sex. He does it because he genuinely cares about my well-being. But the effect is that I go from tense and depleted to warm and open. And in that state, desire comes naturally. This is the thing about the way women work that most men never get taught. We are not vending machines. You cannot insert the right combination of actions and expect a specific output, but you can create an environment of safety, of warmth, of care, where desire has room to grow. And when you do that consistently over time, you stop experiencing rejection. Not because she's forcing herself, but because she genuinely, naturally wants to be with you. If this video helped you, if anything I said today made something click, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button. It tells YouTube this content matters, and it helps me reach more men who need to hear this. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications because this is only one piece of a much bigger conversation, and I have so much more coming your way. And third, share this video. Send it to a friend, a brother, a man in your life who you know is struggling in his relationship. You might just save his marriage. And in the comments below, tell me which of these 7 points hit hardest for you. Was it emotional connection, taking charge, making it about her? I want to know. Let's talk about it. So, there you have it. 7 things my husband does that get me in the mood every single time. Emotional connection, flirting during the day, touch and foreplay, taking charge, making it about her, helping around the house, and reducing her stress. None of these are complicated. None of them require you to be someone you're not. They just require intention, awareness, and a genuine desire to understand the woman you're with. Because here's the truth I want to leave you with. The men who have the best sex lives are not the most attractive men or the richest men or the men with the most game. They are the men who took the time to truly understand their women, who showed up consistently, intentionally, and lovingly, not just in the bedroom, but in every room. Be that man. I'm Dr. Julia Rhodes, and I'll see you in the next